I am privileged. It is an honor. As a matter of fact, the way I feel, the way something inside me is telling me that this introduction should be done prostrating. You know, you will understand. This means a lot. It means the world to me. This person is a father. As a matter of fact, let me share this testimony with you guys. I've received about 2 different awards now. 1 or 2, where, yeah. You know, before you clap, wait. Oh. And then, yes, that's my daughter. And then they called, the organizers called and said, Alibaba said that you are doing this, and because of that, you deserve it. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Please put it together. And the funniest thing is, this my father hardly sees me. I remember there was a time he wanted me to come to his office. I got to his office and I was told he has gone again. He's busy. But out of his busy schedule, he still has time to respond to my messages. And I'm sure you follow him. You know what I'm saying. I am not just one of his sons. He has so many sons. Now, this is a man who have paved the way for a lot of people. Part of the reason why we're here is to gain clarity, right? Now, there are people at some point in their life that did not even understand where they are headed in life. But this man paved the way, stood in the way. Once again, I say a leader is somebody who wants to show others the way, correct? But you cannot show without first knowing, right? So a leader is somebody who knows the way, goes the way, and shows others the way. This man knows his way. He went through the way. And today, I am an evidence, an epitome of that way that he has shown many others. Please, I'd like you to rise up on your feet. Put those hands together. Smile. Let him see you smiling as I make welcome my father, a mentor, a role model, a covenant, a community builder, the grandfather of Covedy. Please put those hands together. Put those hands together.
I need plain paper. Please be seated. I'm always honored when I have to speak to youths, because we didn't have this kind of opportunity in our time. Just thank you. We didn't have this kind of opportunity in our time. After listening to Jimmy and knowing what you are all gathered here for, I want to do something that, Mr. M knows that, Sean knows that when he comes to my office, I'm always drawing and writing things. So I'll take a few minutes to do that quickly here now, so that we can capture the essence of all of us gathering here. But from the top of my head, you are going to remember this meeting. You are going to remember it greatly. So just a minute. What do you call that thing? A la carte, Abi? So what I'm going to give you is a la carte. So, how many of you are familiar with the story of Joseph in the Bible? How many of you are familiar with the story of Zacchaeus in the Bible? As I'm asking, you just raise your hand. How many of you are familiar with the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible? How many of you are familiar with the story of David in the Bible? How many of you are familiar with the story of Moses and the basket in the Bible? Okay. So, I'll give you a small story. So let's say this is a bolt, a knot, right? Bolt or knot. And it needs to be screwed. And the knot is a 17 How many of you know what 17-inch knots, 17, 16, it means that the boat that fills this is a 17. So if you bring any other one and put it, it won't fit, right? If you try to use it, if you have a tire and the wheel spanner you have, it's not the size of that wheel spanner. You will not do anything with it, right? You can't loosen it with it, right? Very good. If the key to a door is not the key to the door, you have to either jack that door, break it, or use something else to master lock it, unlock it, right? So, every success that every one of you would have starts with one thing in this present generation. One is the ability to read and write. Forget every other thing anybody is telling you. If you cannot read and write, you already have one disadvantage. The second thing, are you writing them down? So number one, you should be able to read and write. Write that down. The second thing you need to write down is you need to be healthy. If you are sick, you can't go for interviews. If you're sick, you can't take part in a competition. If you're sick and you are bedridden, even if you are the best painter, you can't do anything. There are people who died because they are sick even when they had all the money. So first thing, you must be able to read and write. That's education. So education, health, then networking. You must know people. You must build connections. Number 4, you must develop yourself. So you know how to read and write. It's like you have a first degree. Agreed, you know how to read and write. But if you do not develop yourself upon that first degree that you have, you will not go anywhere. I'll repeat it. Let me give you an example of how to develop yourself. Did you ever read any part of the Bible that said Jesus went and was learning from the foot of the masters? Did you remember the story? As a child, he went to sit by the foot of the masters and learned from them. This is God. This is a man who knows all. Though as a child, he still went and sat down and was listening to them. Not listening to them for them to teach him something that he doesn't know, but hear from different people. You remember that he also asked his disciples, what do people say I am? So, one other thing that you need to do is feedback. Get feedback. Your feedback is how you begin to... So, the feedback is like your exams. Feedback is like what you get as a result of what you have done. Feedback is what you get that helps you improve on what you do. If the feedback you get is not good, you find a way to make it better. So if Jesus can ask, what do people think and say about me? There's no reason why you shouldn't do something about yourself. The other one is that you must learn how to multiply yourself in value. So yes, you know how to read. Yes, you have connections. Yes, you have education. Yes, you have those values, but you must multiply yourself. Because if you have all the talents in the world, again, I'll go to the Bible and say, you remember the story of the talents? 3 talents. They gave them, 3 men got their talents. The other people multiplied theirs. And one person buried his. If you have a talent and you have not used it, then it's wasted. I have a law that I live by. It's a driving force for me. And it says, if your success does not make any other person successful, you have failed. Write that down. Write it down. I'm waiting for you guys to write it down. Which is the other reason that I say education. Now that I say write it down, if you do not even know how to write, it is difficult for you to then reference it later. But you see, I went somewhere one time and somebody was teaching. And when the person wanted to start teaching, before the person started teaching, some guy went by the speaker and stood there and recorded the whole conversation. So when the class finished, the guy came back and sat down. It was not my turn to speak, so the guy was sitting there. So I turned, I said, are you a reporter? He said, no, that he's a student. I said, so, he said he doesn't write fast, but that he can record what this person is saying now. Go back and sit down and study it, so he doesn't miss anything. You see, there are students that are the best in class. Once a teacher gets into class and he starts teaching, everything from the beginning, from good morning till signing off, they write everything down. They use shorthand. And they'll put ND. Sometimes they'll use and sign. If the man says plus, they won't write PLUS. They'll put a plus sign. Because they will just write BC or BCS or BCOS. They abbreviate everything because they know what they are writing down. Why? So they can reference it later. So I'll say this again. If your success does not make any other person successful, you have failed. And how is that part of why you are here? There's someone whose success is dependent on your success. What's the success of Adeboye today? It's the success of Jesus. What's the success of all the other pastors? Why is this place here? Because somebody brought value to religion. So if the person had failed, there would be no this. We would all be going to the synagogue or to shrines. Why do I say that? Your success would add value to people. Your success in itself is value. And then people who glean from it then add value to their own lives. There are people today who are billionaires because the product came that was GSM. Before the GSM, nothing. There are some people today who are rich and built houses because they own 3, 4, 5 Ubers. When Uber was not here, some of them would say, Amen, I can't go into transportation. But now they own vehicles. There are people today who own Airbnbs because someone started that. So, as you're sitting, one thing you must do is add value to yourself. Add value to yourself. Write it down in capital letters. Add value to yourself. And so I'll be giving you examples from the Bible. A lot of you heard of the story of Zacchaeus climbing a tree. But what people just see is, Zacchaeus was covered because he was short, everybody was there, and he couldn't see, so he went to climb a tree so that he can see. The story of value there is missing to a lot of people. He was short and he couldn't see. He climbed a tree to add value to that his deficiency. And when he climbed the tree, was he not seen? Now, that is the same reason that is behind a billboard. A billboard is something that is up there so you can see. Because sometimes you get distracted by everything around you like this. But once something is lifted, you see it. We all must add value to ourselves. And until that time comes, you have to continue to build. See, the value that you build for yourself and create for yourself, it's not for you. It's for whoever will need that value that you have created for yourself. I say that if you have a skill or talent, until somebody pays you for it, it's a hobby. Write it down. If you have a skill or talent, until somebody pays you and say, oh, Jimmy Tewe said somebody gave him 100 naira at a time because he told them certain things. I'll give you an example of how what Jimmy did also happened to a man called Joseph, the dreamer. Why did they come to Joseph to say, interpret this dream? Because he had shown that he can do it. The Bible also says, you do not have a skill and put it under, you don't have a light and put it under a bushel. Is that not? Once you have something and it's a skill that you can, you show it. I read religious studies and philosophy. I read it in Aramaic. I read it in Hebrew. I read religious studies philosophy in Greek. And in studying, our teacher will tell us, before you go into this verse and read it, you need to understudy, first of all, the historical value behind that thing. So you see, let's go with the story of the woman at the well. The woman at the well had several husbands until Jesus came and told her what her problem was. But you see, a well in the Mediterranean is gold. You know it's a desert. It's a Mediterranean. So a well is gold. Anywhere you see a well, there's value. When the well does not have water, there is no value. And so if you do not have value as a well, nobody comes there to fetch water. Let me explain it like this. When the brothers of Joseph hid him, where did they put him? In a dry. Why did they put him in a dry well? Because nobody will go there. So when you make yourself a dry well, nobody will come to you. Am I making sense? I'm speaking out of. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you make yourself a dry well, nobody comes to you. But as soon as you add value to yourself and create impact, they look for you. Remember when Saul had a problem and his head and King Saul's head, one knot then went bang. What did they tell him? I know someone who plays the harp and will calm you down. You know what that means? Value. Jimmy Tewe talked about it just now, and some of you may not have gotten it. Recommendation. Recommendation is when someone says something about you, even when you are not there. You have to live your life in a way to the point where when you are not even there, somebody can vouch for you. Let's go back to the Bible. Some people said, drink is finished, oh, we don't have any drink. And the man said, okay, go and put water inside this thing. I'm sure when they put the water, one of them said, wait, hold on. Mary, is this your boy? Okay. He said, what? Ani shayo titon. We just put water inside bowls. He said, anything he tells you to do. So you have to prove yourself in several ways so that the people that recommend you do it because of what they know that you can do. Let me take you back to the story of Joseph again. So Joseph finished interpreting the dream. And shortly later, the dream came true. When the prisoner was leaving, some of you will be like, oh, I've done my part. I'm the one that interpreted the dream for him. But as he was about leaving, what did Joseph do? He gave him his complimentary card. He said, remember me. When things are good for you, remember me. So what's your reference point? Value. Do you think that if I were working in a place, if I was working in a place, which is why you get reference letters, or you put reference when you apply for a job. So if you're working in a place and there's this receptionist, hello? Speak, I can't hear you, speak. Hello? Well, see, hurry up, oh. You're going to be calling me. And then another day, you'll say, hello? Didn't I tell you that he's not around? You'll be calling me and calling me. Say, hello? Yes? Kike? Yes? How may I help you? Say, I want to speak with Oga. So I say, he's not available. Bang. Calls back again. See, Kike, when you called the last time, what did I say? He said, no, I want to find out. What did I tell you now? He said, you said he's not available. So now you think if you call back now, he'll be available. Then I know that kind of receptionist. Then one day, a letter comes to me and says, oh, this receptionist says she worked in your organization. What do you think? Can you, on your own, just give me words to describe the receptionist? Yes? I like that one, Weary. Yes? Yes? It is like that. Add value to yourself. And in a direct interpretation, your value is your impact. Write that down. Value equals to impact. Now, value is always positive. So what value did he add to your life? So, why is value impact? Value is something you glean from and become a better person. Value is what you glean from and become a better person. That's why you hear people say, since you started working with so and so person, your ideas are now different. So the way you wake up early, you and this boy, as you started moving, you now wake up early, you dress smart. Or, do you know there are some people you date, which is something that, so one of the things you need to write down too is spouses. Write that down, spouses in your life. You can date somebody that makes you worse. A friend of mine said he had to break up with one girl one time. In talking stage only. Said he went to see her one time and he said, I have to be somewhere by 6 p.m. And the person said, what are they doing? He said, it's a birthday party. He said, it won't start till 8. He said, but the person invited me to come for 6 p.m. He said, see, trust me, it won't start till 8. He said, I want to go, and then quarrel. Every time you want to leave me, are you the first person? Are you the person? Are you the organizer person? So he left. As he was going, he got a text message. I'm sure it is not that event you are going for. I'm sure it's somebody else you want to go and see. Enjoy yourself. So he got there, met the party. Some people came by 5:30. Garden party, as soon everything was beginning to go on. So if he had come at 8, he would have missed a lot of opportunity because the guy's MD that he wanted to meet this guy got there at 6 p.m. and left at 6:25. So while he was there, he was sending pictures to the girl to say, look, Now, he didn't need to be justifying himself to someone who does not have a time culture. So he kept justifying himself. And that one kept saying, yeah, it just happened like that. Right, what is? Then he then said, if I did not get there at that time, I would not have met the man that the guy that invited me wanted me to meet. He said, is it only that time that you would have met him? There are some people, the counsel they will give you will counsel you. It's the same way you see money or a phone and you say, oh, somebody forgot the phone here. And the person says, iPhone 17 money. Have you bought iPhone 17 before? He said, no. So you want to return it. And you're like, somebody forgot it here. This is a very expensive phone. He said, you don't know how to use expensive phone. But in any case, so we're back to Joseph. So Joseph interpreted the dream and the guy left. Your recommendation to anyone, your recommendation for anyone brings them better luck next time. That's why he gave him the call card and said, remember me. And that's what a call card actually means. In the UK, some people say called card. That I called and you're not there, I dropped the card. Some people call card. So you can call me because of this card. Get this straight. To build network is also very important because those people then speak for you when you are not there. I'll round up in a few words. David learned a lot of things. And all of these things that he learned was before he met the test of his value. The Boy Scout rule says, be prepared. And to be prepared means that you should be ready so that when the time for the test comes and they want to judge if you are qualified, you be ready. Many people don't know this about the story of the 10 maidens. The 10 maidens, 5 carried extra oil. 5 did not. I am sure that those 5 that did not carry, when they were going, were saying, Allah shade you. It's only you that are you the person that will light up the world? So the 5 of us here, we don't have sense, Abi. And then when they got there, and there was no groom yet, and the groom delayed, they were ready with the thing that they would use. It's the same way that you get extra knowledge. After your first degree, you get a master's. And then sometimes you get a second master's. Why? Because when the time comes, and they say, oh, we need to post somebody to Ibadan to head that branch. Is there anybody here that has an MBA? At that time, you have already climbed the tree that we talked about for Zacchaeus. But you see, the other thing people miss with the Zacchaeus story is that value is not about changing location. Write that down. Value is not about changing location. If you are a mumu in Nigeria, if you go to Canada, you will still be a mumu. So when he changed location, he also changed position. So he didn't just, okay, this place I'm standing, everybody is taller than me. This place is open, nobody is here. The crowd will still come with Jesus. And when they get there, of course, they will be taller than you again. There are people who leave one organization and go to another one because they feel like the competition there is strong. But they do not do anything to improve themselves. That's one thing that we started talking about. When you get to know how to read and get an education, it helps you get better. It's important for you to know that of all these things that I'm talking about, when it comes to the nitty-gritty, the value that you bring to any space is what sets you apart. The value you bring to any space is what sets you apart. So, There's something that may fly over your head sometimes, but you see, there's a part of the Bible that says, God bless what is in your hand. God did not say, oh, Moses, I'll give you a rod. That's saying, what is that in your hand? Have something in your hand. God bless the work of your hands. God does not put the work in your hand, though. He blesses the work of your hands, because as He created you like this, you're already perfect to do anything, unless you have a deformity or anything. Even those that have deformity then use their voice. Have you seen people who can't walk and are great motivational speakers? But you have voice and leg. You are not a motivational speaker. It's important for us to know that God uses everything that we have in us to become a better person. But some of you have the skills and you don't develop it, like the story of the talent. So as I'm rounding up, in case we have questions, please know. When I started doing stand-up comedy, there were a lot of people who discouraged me. One person said, in fact, my uncle, well, and my dad too. Now, when people discourage you, their discouragement is from their own point of understanding. You know, some people that don't have are the people that discourage you the most, because they don't know the value of where you are going. So you tell somebody, hi, I want to buy an Uber. I want to buy a Toyota Camry so I can be using it for Uber when I close from work. And this is no joke. This is something that happened. And you hear, the way they steal that Camry now, You have not bought it, Then you hear, are you going to drive it or you are going to give it to somebody? And you guys say, I'm working. So when I close, I'll drive. But if I don't have time, I'll get somebody that'll drive it. You hear, You just want to bless somebody with that car because... But there are people who have made money from buying Ubers for people to drive and making money for themselves. It's the same way you tell somebody, I think I should do MBA. Business management. I should do masters in finance. You say masters in finance. I have friends too. They don't have work. Or you say, I think since instead of just sitting at home like this, maybe this petrol attendant thing, maybe I should just apply for it and just be doing that one and using it to hold body together. Say, so you'll be selling fuel for people. Do you know if your fellow students that were in school with you come and see you, it's a shame? The guy takes, this is a true story, Mobile, Sanfield. So the guy picked up this job. After a while, the guy that told him that he shouldn't pick up the job was coming to squat in his house. Then one day, the guy now said, oh, my phone fell. She only yamini be 100,000. She fixing it. The sound was not, in fact, I don't hear well. Let me fix it. He said, I would have given you, but it's money from selling fuel. And the guy did not talk to him again for a while. So he saw him one day and he was like, so the person I said, is that not your friend? He said, let him get out there, stingy idiot. So that one now called that guy. Said, I saw your friend. I was telling him that he didn't greet you. He said, it's small quarrel. He told me not to work in a filling station, that it is jobs for dropouts and those. So I started working in the filling station. I make money. Sir, he said the man out. That was when the boy told him, sir, do you know how much we make from that 20 kobo, 30 kobo, 40 kobo that's on top that we just round up and the person just pays. And then some people even still give you money. That sometimes when I finish, I make my salary a day. But you see, the people that discourage you do not have the experience. That's why it is good to also write this down. For you to succeed, write this down. Mentorship. And I'll give you an example of that mentorship, and if there's any question, we'll take that. Mentorship. Have people who have walked a path. When Sean was introducing me, he said that I taught people how to do it. I made them see the road that I walked through. Let people know how you walk the path and what the challenges were and how you overcame that. So let's go back to the Bible. So Samuel heard a voice, called him. Do you know, if you go to some other people and you say, I heard a voice. Do you know some Yoruba people will be like, what in be? Don't answer. If you answer like this, your own is finished. He went, he said, no, I didn't call you. So he went again. And then came back the second time and said, did you call me? He said, I did not call you. Then he went. When he came again, I said, Now, this is now what mentorship does. He has walked the path. He knows how this thing works and functions. As soon as he told him, he said, next time you hear it, say, speak. But you need to get a mentor that knows the path. Some time ago, at a roundup, I went to see Obasanjo. And Obasanjo told me how people win elections when they don't want to win the right way. And he listed all the things for me and said, bet me. If these people want to win these elections, if they know that they are not doing well, this is what they will do to win the elections. And he listed all of it. And so when I went to a podcast, anybody saw it? You saw the podcast? How many other person? No? Okay. Yes, you saw the podcast too. And I listed the things that Obasanjo said. That this is what they will do. They will first find somebody in the party that is strong to destroy the party. I won't call names. He said then, they will find somebody to run against you that has clout, knowing the person does not want to win. And then they will look for very key people around you and give them appointments. And then they'll look for somebody for customs, finance, and DGs of NNPC and all those places, and put different people that they know are their people, and look for somebody for tax. And they do all of this. Then they will now make governors defect. I did this podcast last year, July. When you meet someone that knows about something, they put you through. And so, if you did not get anything today, it is to know that, first of all, you must add value to yourself. You must educate yourself. The reason they say learn to read, write, and comprehend is because once you know how to do that, you can upgrade yourself by yourself. The failure of a lot of people is that when a child is 2-3 years, in some homes, they wait for the child to be able to do this before he joins primary 1. But between that date that the child is born and the child becomes 6, you know, some children have gone through nursery, learned how to read, learned how to write, learned how to comprehend. When you tell him, sit down here, he knows how. When you say ball, he knows how to spell it. When you say book, he knows how to spell it. Now that boy gets into primary 1. Then one person from Ulodia Papa brings their child at primary 1. Who do you think the teacher will be more prone to teaching? The one that already has the background. Because that one brought an extra oil. Thank you very much. God bless you. I told you I wanted to write something down. This is all I wrote down. Why? Everything you learn must be in your head. Everything you learn must be in your head. Because that is when you carry it with you. And it's not in a book.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we give him a round of applause? God bless you, sir. That was impactful. That was impactful. Quickly, I want you to place your hands on your chest. Let's do something real quick. And say, I would add value to myself. I would educate myself. I would learn how to multiply my values. I will connect with good people. I know many of you might not agree, but I know I do not need to jackpot before I make it in life. We are not saying it. I know I do not need to jackpot before I make it in life. Thank you very much. Can you have a seat, please? Let's have a seat. So we're going to be taking just two questions. So please, if you have a question, can I see your hands up, please? Just two people. Okay, sir.
So what happens most times is that some people have questions, but asking the question is a big problem. So if you can write the question down, write it and give it to her. Write the question down and give to her, and then we'll take it.
Oh, time. Please, if you know you have a question and you're very shy to come out, just one now because of time. Oh, sir. Should we take Mr. Sean's question? He said he's your mentor. You are his mentor, sir. You have access, sir. Should we take your question? Okay, let's take Mr. Sean's question. Then we'll take one more from the congregation.
You should not deprive me of my blessing. So that is, I think the question I want to ask is, I know how far you've come and the people that has come after you. But at every point where you are building, how were you able to overcome some of the challenges? Because I want to believe that there are certain challenges you've probably encountered. How were you able to overcome this? And I'm asking this question from the point of clarity, because a lot of us, we want to be successful, right? But we also need to understand that challenges will come, and how we overcome those challenges is as important as the success we want to build. So that's what I'm asking, sir.
So one more. Oh no, I'm going to pick. I saw we'll raise the hand first, I'm coming to... Yes, you can write your questions and we'll collect them from you and you get your answers. Trust me, you will. So let's have you, ma'am.
Let me stand up. Can I speak now? Okay. Good afternoon once again. I really thank God I'm here today. At least being in the midst of, let me say, great people. Because when I got this invite, I was ignoring it. But this thing to you have to be here this morning. I came all the way from mainland to come to this program. And the last speaker, you really speak, it's as if I'm the one speaking there. Because I lost my sight 2013 to eye fever and measles. And 2017, I went to a rehabilitation school. Before losing my sight, I used to make pastries for living. So when I got there, I have to let them know what I know how to do. So a few months after I left, my principal found himself in somewhere and he recommended me. So when he was making that point of where you have a value, you don't hide your value. I never knew then because I have little knowledge when I was in the rehabilitation school. But for the few ones I showed them when I was in that rehab, got me to what I'm doing today because I was recommended. Now, I got a job in Victoria Island to train visually impaired women like me. So I have to come all the way from mainland.
Sorry, ma, please, can you let us know your question?
No, I'm just the value that he mentioned.
Oh, so
I never knew about that value. Not until now. That is mentioning
the value. Can you clap your hands together? Thank you very much. It's so glad to know that, that lecture brought an impact. So let's have your question, please. Please make it as quick as possible.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Abigail Sumola Oluwaferomi, and thank you, Mr. Alibaba, for that lecture. It was like you were speaking to me, actually. All the examples you cited and everything all together. But now my question is about the networking part. So networking with people and connecting with people that you know can impact you. Sometimes, personally speaking, I feel cringe. I hope this person does not see it as you are trying to how do I put it now? Like this relationship thing, I hope it's not going to be like this person is taking from me. And then you look at it like, okay, what can I do for this person in return? So my question is this. What do you advise? How do you advise we go around this networking? And secondly, sometimes you don't even have, sorry, please. Sometimes you don't even have access to some of these people. So how do you encourage, or what would you say is your advice, number one, on access, and number two, ways to go around this thing called networking? Thank you so much.
So please, before I give him the mic, please, when we say ask a question, please go straight to the point. We don't have time. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, no, please. Let's have you answer. Oh, wow, extra questions. Wow, this is history. But we will read it anyways. So if you are into a line of business and you know more about the business and you want to expand it and make it legal, but you don't have someone to mentor you, how do you go about it? Should you just try, fail, and learn, then succeed? That's the question. So the next question says, if the people who discourage you are key people in your life, like your parents, how do you deal with that discouragement?
All right, one house. Can you all see me at the back there? You have questions, eh? Get the questions, you pass them. Okay, so first of all, it's important to know that if you have any skills, talent, or idea, you must weigh it first against realities. I always teach, you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot, if you weigh like I weigh, 102 kg, beat Usain Bolt. Should I repeat that? If you weigh my weight now, or come, brother, come. If you are blood of God. Oh yeah, sit down. There's no need. Okay, no, come. We can do this. Yes. Yes. So I'm talking. I've become Zacchaeus. You see how we have leveled up because I climbed on something. Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, one time we were talking and somebody now told him, said, "Go, I'm not your mate." He said, "If I stand on top of my money, I'm taller than you." So now I'm standing here. Now we're equal. If you stand on your education, it can bring you here. If you stand on network, it can bring you here. If you stand on God, it will bring you here. If you have to build anything that will bring you up. But so to answer your question, you see, sir, you can sit down. It's important to know that any business you want to start, be practical about it first before you even go to meet people who would either discourage or encourage you. I'll give you an example. When I told my dad that I wanted to be a comedian, because of his own convictions, my dad said no, because my dad wanted me to be a lawyer. Because every roboman has court cases that are waiting, and if you now graduate as lawyer, then you won't have to pay for any legal fees. But my dad wanted me to be a lawyer because he said that I had the ability to convince people from when I was young. I started reading at the age of 3. Now, why I made that point is that sometimes you go tell some people an idea and you have not even cooked it well. You have not even thought through it. I tell people, anytime you want to do any business, go and read the story of Moses. The story of Moses puts everything you must do in any business for you. First, information. The second thing is the challenge. You have the information, you have the challenge. That's the need. What is the challenge that they had? Kill all male child. Is that not a challenge? Kill all male children in Israel was the task that she had to fight against. Now, the information she got then helped her resolve it. What was the information she got? That somebody does not have a child and she's a princess. Are you getting it? Because what if she had gone to drop the child in a basket there and the woman has 3 children? Would she take Moses? Answer now, will she take Moses? So you must get information. So make sure that the information you have about your business is strong and solid and faced reality. I just use an example now. If you weigh something like him and myself, I'm weighing 102, 103 sometimes it can be near 105. But you see, in his own case, it can be maybe 106 or 107. But you see, when we then stand with Usain Bolt, do you know we're deceiving ourselves? For instance, and this is not talking about people with disability. And shout out to my friend here. I'll take your number before I leave. That is visually impaired. If you are a stammerer, you can't read the network news. I don't know if you get me. You can't read, say you will now be John Momo, and you sit down and say, good evening, and welcome to NTA News. My name is Ibuku. Which television station will hire you? So why am I making that point? Say you must use your reality. You see, she built herself knowing that she couldn't see, but she has insight. So when you then sell your idea to certain people, and then some people, you first wait. I told you about mentorship. Where the people you are selling your idea to? Get information about these people you are selling your idea to first. Now, when you now, the other person, what's the other person's question? Networking. No, so networking comes in different ways. I met a guy in South Africa one time. And so they were taking pictures. Very important man. He said, Ali, come take pictures with us. Come now, come. So I went. He said, no, not here. Stay by the man. Stay. So I stood by the guy who took pictures. 4 years later, I heard that the guy was now minister. So I sent him a message and said, that guy, he said, oh, yes, he's minister now. So he sent him a message and said that guy that took a picture with you is a big comedian in Nigeria. And the guy sent a message and said, during their swearing in, he would like me to be in South Africa. But wait, now that's not the point of it. Pictures are good for networking. I know many people, once you point camera, don't take pictures. Meanwhile, it is the picture that somebody will see. Say, who is this person? This is the person that I said I'm looking for. That's pictures. And then learn to send messages. Some of you don't know that social media is good for networking. It's somebody's birthday. You cannot write there, happy birthday, God bless you, wish you long life and prosperity. And then your communication skills are very important for networking, because if you do not have communication skills, you cannot relate. So you meet somebody. So we meet somebody and you are gisting, and this is networking. Or you go to an event and then it's cocktails and you're just moving around, and you meet somebody who's with another guy. Say, oh, hi, good afternoon. And the person says, oh, how are you? What do you do? You said, I make crochets. Oh, really nice. Then the person now tells you, oh, I'm into computer engineering. You say, wow, 100 or 4. What's the other thing? They say, your career is giving, clocking. Learn how to communicate for networking. Then sometimes some people, when you network, and this is a big problem in Nigeria, you meet someone. Tony Elumelu comes to a place and he's finished speaking and he's about going. And you then go to meeting. Sir, please, can I have your card? He said, I don't have a card. Say, hey, okay, let me put my number on your phone. As how? And when you then have a minute to meet the person, you do not even know how to explain yourself. The person says, oh, how? I heard that If anybody sees me, that's what Oshibajo says. He said, hey, don't tell Alibaba, say, how are you doing? If you tell me, oh, Ali, how are you doing? I'll give you 10 things that I want to do that I'm not doing now. He saw me one day like that. He said, Ali, I know you're okay. I said, sir, I'm not okay. I have this idea that he said, Ali, you know, I need to speak. I'm speaking next. So can we see later? I said, give me the appointment. Follow things to the end. Follow ideas to the end. So, and then for your networking, it's always important to remember names and take numbers. Now, you can take the numbers from people and then stop number trafficking. If you want to ask my number from him, ask the number and then ask him, tell him I want to call him, or the person will send a message to me and say, this person is going to reach out to you. He does it. But because you have somebody's number, it's not a reason for you to just give the number out like that. And sometimes the number I give to you is a business number. And then when I see how you are, I probably give you my personal number. And then anybody you see, you give them my personal number. We're not on that level on my personal number. Because my personal number, I must pick anytime you call. But my business line, I must pick, but I must see that you are registered on my number. You are not registered. But you know I must speak if you call me on a private line, because I feel for this person to know this number is serious. But when you call me on certain numbers, I will either look and send you a text and say, please send a text, or call Quincy. I send you a message, say, call Quincy. If it's business, call Quincy. But it turns out that some of them that call me are calling on personal reasons. But we have to be personal to get into that space. Networking is important because when you network well, how many of you here have call cards, complimentary cards? Now, the first call card that blew my mind was in 1997. It was Will Smith's call card. It was his thumbprint and the phone number of his agent. His name, Will Smith, the thumbprint and the phone number of his agent. It was unique. I looked at it, I was like, oh, wow. This is nice. And then I called the number later and they said, oh, I'm Will Smith's agent. How may we help you? I said, oh, I met him at Chicago hotel and we spoke. And I told him I'm a comedian from Nigeria. He was shooting the Will Smith show. What's that show called? Beverly, that's his... Anyway, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yeah. But you see, the thing is, some of you have cards that are encyclopedias. We do AC, we do clearing and forwarding, we do embalming, we can do caskets, we can do this one, we do this, this one. And the person is like, okay. Meanwhile, the person is looking for a florist or caterer. So the guy is looking for a caterer and he has to go through all of that to see which one. When it's not a jam question that you are going to do OBJ and say, okay, this is what I want. Be specific in what you do. And if it is a lot of things, just put your phone number. So when the person calls you, you can then tell them, oh, we do this, we do that, we do this. All right? Some people, that's why some lawyers just put their chambers and phone numbers. When you then call them, that is when you find out whether they do marine law, whether they do family law, or whether they do corporate. All right? Your question was? Okay, so challenges, first of all. So my challenges are driven by the fact that I always want to succeed. My first challenge was to prove my dad wrong that I did not choose a wrong career. And it was why I went to NDA. Most of my course mates are the last set of generals. Course 36, 37 were combined. The last set of generals were my set mates. And those set mates still call me for meetings. We're in the same WhatsApp group. We'll go to meetings. And I told one of them, I said, do you know if I joined the army, I would have planned coup. They would have even killed me. So I knew what I did. And so for my dad was that, my dad said, your career must do 5 things for you. Your career must do 5 things for you. And those 5 things were why he wanted me to read law. So your careers must do 5 things for you. Your career must put food on the table, shelter over your head, give you respect, prepare for your retirement, and help you see God. Because when you are a prostitute and take it as a career, or a murderer and take it as a career, or a corrupt politician and take it as a career, you will not meet him. You should be able to, at the end of life, stand before him and say, this is what I do. So those were the things that helped me overcome challenge.
Thank you. Can we raise our feet as we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much, sir.